Hello and good morning. It's Dr. Ashley Romanchuk, and this is my Focus Breath class. We are into week 5, class 2, and we'll just begin. None of this is naturopathic medicine treatment or advice. The title is just my title, and that's it. We're going to begin by just paying attention to our breath as we do every morning. If you're new to this class, you can just begin for sure and follow along, but classes are posted, so you might want to go over the previous classes as it does give some more structure and fundamental knowledge to the breath work that we're playing with. If you're here just to oxygenate your blood after wearing a mask regularly, this is a great class. It does give some yoga philosophy and teachings. This is also considered yoga, one of the 8 limbs of yoga, which is pranayama, breathing, to get into meditation. The real yoga happens, well, that's not true. I was going to say the real yoga happens in meditation, but it's a great idea to try and sit at the end of class into meditation, even just for 5 minutes. A lot can just happen, even just change of posture in meditation. This class is run completely by donation, which is the way yoga is supposed to be taught, so that anybody can come to class, and it is not meant to be about money, although this is lots of years of knowledge and practice, my knowledge and practice going into this class. So donations are very welcome, and it's by email transfer to my email, akromanchuk@gmail.com, akromanchuk@gmail.com. Just to begin the class, let's just all go into noticing our breath, breathing in through our nose and out. Not changing the breath, just breathing regularly in. Ideally open a window in the room that you're in, so that you're really breathing in some fresh air. When you're breathing in through your nose, your belly should be moving out. This is a great class to tune in just from your bed in the morning. Breathing while you're still in bed is actually a really great way to get into pranayama. Your focus is very calm, and it's nice and warm, so if you open your windows, you're not cold. It's just calming. You can really get into a great mindset of focusing your breath. If you are laying in your bed, just straighten out your spine. Make sure your sacrum, the triangular bone between your hips, is flat on your bed. Straighten out your legs, straighten out your spine, straighten out your shoulders, your head. Find a comfortable position. And then if you're seated, I would suggest sitting on a cushion, and then make sure your bony sit bones are equal into the ground, planted into the ground, and one's not forward and one's backward. Hips are above that. If you can be in a cross-legged position, that's one of the best ones. If you're more of an advanced yogi and want to go into a more seated position for the yogis, go for it. your abdominal muscles are being used, so in, up, very much. Use your solar plexus in, so towards the back, and then up. Gets your diaphragm moving properly. Your ribs should be above your hips, and then your shoulders above your ribs and hips. And think of a ribbon up to the sky. Your shoulders want to be down and back, away from your ears. Jaw relaxed. Tongue always up against the roof of your mouth, behind your front teeth. Breathing in and out. It's a good time to tune in to how you feel this morning. Did you eat something last night that you don't agree with? Do you need some water? Okay. Personally, always drink a glass of water right when I get up, and then throughout this class I drink one. Probably by 10 in the morning I've already drank a liter of water myself, and a lot of fatigue and weight problems, digestive issues can be because somebody's dehydrated, so drinking water is a good thing. I'm not giving medical advice, but basic knowledge that water is the elixir of life. So everybody just breathing in through their nose and out. Let out some sighs on the out breath if you want. Smile while you're breathing. Perhaps plant an intention for your day. Come into the moment here and let the rest of the day be what it's going to be. We just have these moments for breathing, and then your mind can go off to the rest of the day. This is what breathing also does, is it stills the mind into the moment, which is the only time that we're truly living, really, right? Everybody's heard that wisdom. If you're depressed, you're living in the past, and if you're anxious, you're living in the future. All we have is right now. So I thought I'd begin the practice while everybody's just breathing through the nose and out. You can do some lion's breath too if you feel like you've got some heat. We introduced that last week. So when you breathe in, that's lion's breath, right? If you're a cold person and cold internally, stiff, I would not suggest doing this breath. Just be breathing in through the nose and out. And if you feel like you've got excess stress, just sigh a few times. Feels good. Okay. So there's 8 classical limbs of yoga called Raja Yoga. And there's Yamas, there's the codes of conduct. Now, these are not very different than the religious codes of conduct. Then there's Niyamas, self-observances, which is a very important part of yoga. To know self and to come into alignment with self, to master self. We've got the asanas, which are the postures. Asana actually means to take a seat. So you can actually go into more advanced yoga, which we're doing right now in this class, which is you just take a seat and then you breathe, still the mind. And then you have practice. Well, I'll get into it. Anyways, there's asanas. A lot of Western yoga just teaches asanas, which is a way to get into what yoga. It is yoga in essential form. Deeper yoga is sitting into meditation. Pranayama is what we are doing, breath work. Pratyahara is sense withdrawal and non-attachment, and I have been teaching that in these classes. One of the biggest ones for people to learn is to not attach to emotions. Emotions are fleeting, we all have them. They are not who we are. Yet a lot of people identify themselves with their emotions. Oh, I'm sad. Instead of doing that, thinking, oh, I have sadness at this moment. Same with a disease. Oh, somebody might say, oh, I have whatever disease they have. And I was like, oh, you're bringing that into your identity. That's a really big thing. And you're speaking it too. It's a very big deal. So disconnecting from that is very important. It goes further with that, non-attachment to expectation, non-attachment to outcome, non-attachment to money. Pratyahara is a very important practice in yoga. Then we have dharana, which is concentration. So that's what we're doing right now. As I'm speaking, you're all breathing, right? So let's start breathing in for 4 and breathing out for 4. And when we're breathing all the way down into our belly. Practicing this, breath work, I've said this a ton of times, very quickly moves the digestive system. So if anybody is breathing and they very quickly have to go to the bathroom, go ahead and go to the bathroom. This class will be here. Training self to go to the bathroom when the signal comes on is a very important part of digestion, health. If you didn't have a mother that taught you that when you were a child, very easily we can turn off those signals, and then people show up to us naturopathic doctors in their 30s, 40s, and 50s with digestive problems. You don't want those. Dhyana's meditation, very important. And then the whole focus of everything is to get into samadhi. And that's a realization of the true self. It's a unity with what is called Brahman in yoga. The energy of the divine. It's the divine realm, it's eternal, it's very serene, very peaceful, full of divine love. It's very beautiful. So each of these classes give a little bit of philosophy and teachings. There's a lot. Perhaps we'll go over the codes of conduct of yoga. Let's just practice this breath though. This is a practical class essentially. But it's important to teach these things because you don't get, knowledge is like a doorway, right? So knowledge helps us move through and advance, and yoga is essentially mastery of self. Breathing in through the nose and out. If you feel like you want to do some neck movements, safe ways to do so is yes. No. You can do ear to shoulder. You can look to your armpits. So eyes to your armpit. You can very gently, don't pull your head, but very gently place the hand over. And I've taught this in other classes, so it's aligning the very top of your cervical vertebrae and training the muscles up there. So it's this like duck neck, and it's moving forward and backwards. Okay, so we're going to start restraining the breath. So at the very top of the inhale, strain the breath. At the very bottom of the inhale, we're going to strain the breath. So breathing in for a count of 4 through our nose. And then breathe out. Breathing in for 4. In for 4. Notice the place of peace, sattva, at the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath. This breath is a very important practice to come into centered peace in the body. And then to learn to take this energy, this peaceful energy at the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath, it's very serene. And bring it with you as you breathe. You start to exude this energy when you practice this breath. Okay, this is a very important breath to create peace in your body and in your life. Sattva is the word for it in yogic terminology, Vedic. Okay, so breathe in for 4. Pause. Breathe out for 4. Good time to practice mind-heart coherence. So how connected are you right now with your heart? And it's an energetic thing. In for 4. Pause. Breathe out for 4. Pause. Keep breathing as I'm talking, because I think it is a good time, especially with our very sattvic breath, to speak of the yamas, the codes of conduct of yoga. So the first is ahimsa, and that's non-violence. This is very obvious, like we don't go hit people or harm people, but this also means non-violence to self. And this requires your second limb of yoga, Yamas, which is the self-observances. So violence goes into several different ways. How do you harm self when you perhaps don't align with your values and boundaries? How do you harm self when perhaps you eat the wrong foods and your digestive system's not healthy, yet you keep eating them? How do you harm yourself if you remain in a relationship that's not for your highest good? How do you harm yourself if you wake up every day tired? These are different ways, right? So ahimsa is a big one. Non-violence and learning to not be violent. This is a big one with yoga. We are in the yogic tradition. It teaches veganism because one would never take the life of an animal even. Somebody that practices real yoga, like, I mean, any bug that's in the house, I take the bug out alive. Like, I don't kill spiders and stuff because you don't want to harm something. You see the sacredity in each moment. Satya is the second one, which is truthfulness. And aligning with your truth, and telling the truth, speaking the truth, it changes everything. You actually feel the purity of it, connected with source energy, God, Ishvara, Creator, Allah, whatever word you want to use for source energy. And that's Asteya, which is non-stealing. And we're practicing that actually in this class. So by me teaching and leaving it up to the public to donate, I'm actually teaching my students. So I'm putting it into your own integrity to donate the value of what this class is worth. And there's an energy with this. There's an energy where one will feel good and paying attention to all these moments. So it's a very important practice. A lot of people don't get these because, well, and it's neat too to see what the yogic teachings were, and then see how the religious teachings are very similar. The fourth one's brahmacharya, which is moderation. So again, this is a non-greed situation. So not eating too much, not sleeping too much, not everything's in moderation. You don't ever want to be too much, and it's a fine line. So real yoga, when you walk it, and masters have said it, and I've experienced it, it is like a razor's edge. You're always like, okay, and you're just following yourself, but it's a fine line. And you always have to check in and follow your truth. And then the fifth one is aparigraha, and that's non-attachment, and that's a big one. The ego likes to be attached to outcomes, safety, sense of security, sense of that we have control. And don't. So you learn a lot with yoga. So everybody's still breathing. Let's go into our oxygenating breath, which is through the mouth and out. Breathing in through the mouth and out, just letting it go. Very basic breath. Just letting the breath out. Don't control the out breath. This is almost like yawning, but not quite. Just breathing in and out. This breath is a lot of work. That's why it's called breath work. Really great at oxygenating the blood really quickly. This is why you yawn, right? When you get tired. You need to change your blood pressure really quickly. This is kind of the same breath. Breathing through your belly. We're going to add a new breath today, which is exciting. Okay, so it goes from this breath. It's very similar, but we're going to take our tongue and fold it like this, lengthwise in your mouth. This is called Chitali breath, and it's a cooling breath. It's a great breath if you've got heat in your body. People with heat in their body typically eat too much food, too much fat, unhealthy food, alcohol's tobacco, smoking. Literally, they hold anger in their body, and that creates heat. They're just robust in their nature. These are people that could use like going running really hard for 20 minutes a day. So this breath cools the body. If you're a cold person, just keep going with this breath. Through the mouth and out. So this breath, so we, with our tongue, and we're going to breathe in through our mouth. And then we're going to let the breath out like a ujjayi breath. The ujjayi breath is the breath of the seashore, and it makes a slight humming noise. So like that. This is not a breath to use if you have low blood pressure, but a great breath to do if you have high blood pressure. People with low blood pressure often get dizzy if they go from sitting to standing position. If you at all just get dizzy in the day, this is not a breath to do for you, okay? So just keep breathing in through your mouth and out. And then for the rest of you, let's practice Chitali breath. So tongue like that, in through the mouth, and then out with a ujjayi breath. And it's all just practice. I can't keep talking and doing it, the breath. So I am going to do the breath with you. We're going to do this for several minutes. And notice how you feel. It's a really great breath. I mean, all breaths are wonderful, but this one is really nice and cooling and soothing. So especially if anybody has a burning feeling in their throat, often meaning a hyperactive thyroid, any sort of digestive problems, this often when you've got fire or too much heat in your digestion often shows up as really smelly bowel movements. This is the breath to be doing to help balance all that. So. This is a great breath. If you ever have a headache, it will make it go away really quickly. We're going to go into ujjayi breath. So this is the breath of the seashore. Moving all of that energy, right? So there's a constriction of the throat and the soft palate. You hear the ocean come in, you hear it go out. It moves the prana of the body, activates the nadi system, the meridians. I've already said all this. It improves your concentration. It tonifies the internal organs. Very big deal. And this is a great breath for people that are cold because it increases body heat. So I'll practice with you. All these breaths are great to do with your eyes closed, by the way. Just improves your concentration. This is a constriction of the upper palate, throat. So you, with your eyes closed, most people see the ocean coming into the seashore and then moving back, and they might really feel that they're the ocean. So they might move with breath, which is totally all right. Very cool to do because that's how it's moving the energy of the body. You should hear the sound of the ocean in your breath. So the practice, you really only get there by practicing. So everybody practice. We're going to do this for the next several minutes. I'm just going to be right back. Grab something. All right. As you're doing your ujjayi breath, if you're in a seated position and want to, you can start going back and forth. And this really just gets the spine moving a little bit, because ujjayi breath really moves the cerebrospinal fluid, lymphatic system, energy of the body. It's really great for the joints. Very great breath for the spine if you have stiff spine. So while we're doing this breath, so really hearing the ocean in your breath, the spiritual sea, so to say. You can start going back and forth with your spine, stretching it out a bit. It's a great breath to do. You can go around. Helps align the spine. So breathing will align your spine. Just will. So you can do movements to help with that. And still breathing. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into 4-7-8 breath, which we haven't practiced for a little while. This breath is incredible to get the heart back in shape, okay? So great for anybody that's had any arrhythmia, any angina, any anxiety. If their heart and their lung capacity is just out of shape, this breath will take that and put it into shape. It's a difficult breath. It might take several months before people start to get it. When I started it, I could maybe do 3, maybe. And it felt like my lungs were going to explode. And I'm considered a very healthy person. But I wasn't so healthy at that time. So we're going to breathe in our nose for a count of 4. Tongue is always at the roof of the mouth, always. We're going to restrain the breath for a count of 7. And we're going to breathe out for a count of 8. You're all going to have to count this on your own because that's also me training you into breath work. And counting allows your mind to be really focused. When I'm counting for you, I'm doing a disservice to you because I'm kind of making you lazy, and it's about being active and then also taking these breaths into your life. On the out breath for the count of 8, often we'll get to 6 and feel like there's no breath left to blow out. This is where this breath becomes very powerful in training the system. Force the last, like you're almost like you're forcing the last little bits of breath out of your lungs. And yeah, it doesn't hurt, but it's uncomfortable for the last 7 and 8. Keep forcing the last little puffs of breath, like you're just any puff of breath you can force out at the 7 and 8 count. Do that. So again, we breathe in our nose for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, hold, hold, hold. You might feel like your lungs are going to burst here. They're not. And then breathe out for a count of 8. And then once we get to 6, keep breathing out, keep breathing out. And that's where the magic of this breath comes into retraining the lungs and the heart. Okay? So everybody together, but count on your own because I can't breathe and count at the same time. So breathing in for 4, hold for 7, breathing out through our nose or mouth, both, especially at the very end of this breath, mouth for 8. And we'll do it as long as possible. If you have to go to normal breath for a while, totally, I understand that. That's how I got into this breath. You have to. You can do it for 1 or 2 times, 3 times maybe, and then you go into normal breath and then try again. Okay, so let's all go together. 2 more rounds. Okay, so just go to normal breath. In through the nose and out. Notice how much expansion of your lungs and freedom you might have already at this time in the class. This breath is an amazing breath. It retrains the upper muscles in the cervical vertebrae. So our blood pressure and our baroreceptors for our blood pressure are way up here. So when these muscles get lazy, which happens quickly in life, especially if anybody's had any sort of cervical, like a whiplash accident, these muscles can get lazy. Our head, our skull is heavy, right? We've got 8 to 10 pounds right here. So this breath trains the very up high muscles up here. And even after years of doing it, it's still a difficult breath for me to do. And I practice it all the time. And as I'm practicing it, I'm like, oh, I still need to practice this because I can feel where my muscles are up and where I need to strengthen them. So when our head gets heavy, or putting pressure onto our like our baroreceptors, our blood pressure changes, our heart and our lungs can change, and the capacity changes. And we want to stay as healthy as possible for our life. So this is a wonderful breath. It's also taught by Dr. Andrew Weil. That's how I learned it. He's an MD in the United States who really likes to teach a lot of holistic medicine. I haven't heard his name much in a while. I learned this breath probably, 10 or 15 years ago. So he was an elderly doctor. I'm not sure where he is or if he's still alive. Hopefully he's still alive. This is Matthias. He's incredibly kitty. Very cute. Okay, let's go into Kalabati breath, the shining skull. Using our drum muscle here. This is a very detoxifying breath. It increases digestive fire, great for anybody that has a slow digestive system, coldness in their digestive system, problems with their digestive system, especially problems with absorbing or assimilating their nutrition. Again, I've gone through the basics of this class, or this breath. So we focus on our little drum under our belly button here. We focus on the out breath out of our nose. Don't worry about the inhale because the diaphragm will inhale for you. Just focus only on the exhale, and we're doing this repeatedly out of our nose. So I'll give an example and then everybody just jump in. So we always start on an empty system. So you breathe in, breathe out, and go. Breath really tonifies the entire central nadi, the central channel, very important channel because this is our channel that is connected with the divine. When it's strong, our highest chakras are open. This is where you can see people from afar, you can know things from afar, you just are very clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, totally telepathic. You can talk with people through your head, your mind. All these things are things, but unless you connect with them and do practices to I don't know, practice them, I suppose, or have the higher energy centers open, you might not even know about it. So you might just think you live in the physical realm and you've got the physical five senses, and there's way more than that. Like, you know, advanced yogis can see people from afar, can know what they're doing, can hear them. Like I can, if somebody is talking about me, even if I don't know them and they're talking about me in another city, I can hear them. I can hear what they're saying. I've done that for years, and I don't do it on purpose. It's called a siddhi. So you get all these superpowers with yoga, and it's true. Okay, so we're going to do this breath a few times because it's a really great breath to cleanse the respiratory system, strengthens the diaphragm, restores your energy, lots of good stuff. The Western slang term for this is the shining skull breath, because this is the breath that they say you can practice and you will become enlightened. And what that means is your pineal gland gets really cleansed, and that's what I'm saying, where you get clairvoyance and clairaudience and all these cities. SIDDHI is what they're called, cities. So always start with an empty channel. So you breathe in and breathe out, then you start this breath, okay? This is one of the great breaths to do if you're wearing a mask. Go outside every few hours or every hour if you can, do this breath. Oh my God, it's like this breath, you feel great when you do it. If you feel tired in the day, go to this breath. Even just 1 or 2 rounds, it almost gets addicting because you feel so good doing it. And you can keep going, like I can keep going. It's usually my head that goes, oh, I'm just going to breathe normally. But this breath, you can do this for a very long time because you are actually getting breath in. Your diaphragm is recoiling and bringing breath in without you even realizing it. And this strengthens your diaphragm. So this is, yeah, an incredible breath. And, yeah. Kalabati breath. Let's do it again. So breathe in and breathe out to start. lion's breath. If you have some fire, learning the way you feel, and these breaths will help you adjust your system to what you need. So, lion's breath is if you have excess fire, it's just letting it all out there. I'm gonna see what time it is because I've got a feeling it's almost class. Yep, it is the end of class. Yep. Anyways, so time passes quickly in this class. Again, class is all by donation, and donations are really welcome. I am just like you and need money. I'm not going to say need. Live in a society where we are using money as the main method of exchange. I pay rent and buy food just like you. So money is welcome. akromanchuk@gmail.com is how you email transfer me. akromanchuk@gmail.com. I'm going to end the class with some Oms, which is the oldest mantra and the only mantra you need to know. Yoga is not as complicated as all people are thinking. It can be actually really simple. And just oming can align you with the divine source. You're never not aligned with the divine source of energy, but it strengthens your channel above. So just letting it out, playing with it. It's A-U-M. You can play with it on your own. Some people go Om. It is the sound of Ishvara. It's the Omega and the Alpha. So Omega and the Alpha. Okay? So everything. Dream state, waking state, sleep state, life, death, and beyond. Om is everything. Everything you see, everything you experience is all within the Om. Okay, so I'm going to, and then I'm going to sit in meditation for a few minutes. I mean, I'm very still, so I can sit in meditation for hours and probably days if I wanted to, but I go on with life because we all have this life that we have created as important and doing things, and a lot of people it's based on money, which is a brainwashed society, but you know, finding the balance with that is important, and money is an energy. So thinking of it like we think of breathing, we don't think of oxygen and worry about holding on to it, right? So we shouldn't do that with money, and think of it as a movement, an energy that moves, and then watch it come into your life and move out of your life and come into your life and move out of your life. Non-attachment to money too, it's very important, and that's what I'm teaching with this class, with it being all by donation. Okay, so.